Today we're going to build a scale model of the Earth, Moon and Sun to really demonstrate those numbers that we talked about earlier on. This is a great NASA-funded activity that was developed under Project FIRST by the Multiverse Education Group at the Space Sciences Lab. And all of the materials are available online at the website that you see here. In addition, it's really important to start this activity with some pictures of the sun. So this is an arts and crafts demo where we're going to recreate the sun using paints and artistic materials. But we need some inspiration for this first. So if you want to go to the NSO webpage that you can see here, we've put some inspirational solar pictures up that you can download and print off and share as artistic inspiration for this activity. Okay, well we have a video here that will describe what's going on. I'm going to play it for you now and you can see for yourself how to go about this activity. If you decide to do this, or if you have ideas for how you might adapt it, please let us know, list them in the comments. You can also get us on Twitter, like we said earlier. We're always delighted to hear when people actually implement these activities and see how useful they are. In this activity, we're going to build a sun that is 4.5 foot wide and compare that size to the size of the Earth and the Moon, respectively. In order to best figure out how to lay out my cardstock, which was too small for an individual sun, I started by laying out a 54-inch square on the ground using painter's tape. Once I had my cardboard measuring more than 54.5 inches, which will be the eventual size of our sun, I used a homemade compass to draw a circle 54.5 inches in diameter. I did this using a drawing pin, a piece of string that's half the diameter, 27.25 inches, and a pencil. Now that we have the hard work done, it's time to have some fun. I'm using yellow, orange and red paint just to paint the sun in any way I please. This is where those pictures that we showed earlier on can really play a big part in this, depending on the colour scheme that you show kids or whether or not they have spicules or granules that you can see near the photosphere, or whether you see filaments or sunspots. This is really where the kids have a really, really great time decorating their own sun. Okay, so once we have our main sun finished, it's time to add some detail. So you can add as much or as little detail as you like. At the very minimum, I'd recommend adding some sunspots. We added a bunch of different details here. We have some coronal loops and some filaments and a prominence. We're going to get into the details of all of them in later webcasts, but this is just to give you an idea of what might be possible just using regular household materials. Alright, so this is the finicky part. Since we need to make sure that our Earth, Moon and Sun are all to scale, we have to start somewhere. So we started with 1/2-inch stickers for our Earth. In our case, 109 times 1/2 inch is 54.5 inches, which is the diameter of our sun. If you're using stickers that are larger or smaller than 1/2 inch, you need to make sure that you scale your sun accordingly. The same is true for what you use to represent the moon. In our case, we've used 4 1/8 inch drawing pins, but you can use whatever is appropriately sized. So this is our finished product. As you can see, it's lots of detail, but also pretty simple at the same time. This is the kind of thing that with the right inspiration and materials, you could have an awful lot of fun with. So we've gone through and demonstrated this activity as it's described in the lesson plan. However, there's lots and lots of ways that you can adapt it for your own needs. The biggest thing is that because this is a scale model, we need to make sure that the size of our sun and the Earth and the moon are all related to each other. We've started with a 54.5 inch sun, which happens to be 109 times 1/2 inch. So our Earth is 1/2 inch. We've used 1/2 inch stickers for that. And then we've gotten 1/8 inch drawing pins to represent our moon. So we said earlier that 4 moons make up 1 Earth and 109 Earths make up 1 sun. So that's our scale. We need to keep to that. However, you can adapt this in any way you want, like we said. You can remove the scale model aspect of it if you want, and just have it as an arts and craft activity. Get your students or your children to just paint the sun and to use their imaginations to represent the pictures that you have. We've used whatever craft materials we can gather, pipe cleaners and gift ribbon and paint. There's really no limit to what you can do with this, and it's at the end of the day you have a great product that you can hang up on your wall. Once you finish building your sun, you can then have an extension to this activity and actually get the students to figure out how far away you need to be for the moon and the sun to appear the same size. So I'll give you the answer. It's about 495 feet, so it's quite a ways away. But what you want to do is make it so as when you can hold up your drawing pin moon and you look back at where your sun is hanging, that they look about the same size, and you should actually be able to move the drawing pin in front of the sun and eclipse the sun if you can. As always, if you would like to hear more from us, please feel free to get in touch. You can find us on Twitter at NatSolarObs. You can get us on Facebook at National Solar Observatory. And we now have an Instagram account at National Solar Observatory on Instagram.